Sea of Thieves is a weird game because to most people, it's just a funny pirate game they picked up because they saw Jack Sparrow, or they think digging up treasure chests with their friends will be fun. But as you dig deeper into this game, you'll start to unearth its deeper mechanics, until eventually, you'll run into your first sweat. A player that's close to mastering the game's mechanics will one-ball you on a whim and two-tap your entire galleon crew with their superior weapon loadout. It's at this point that a lot of players will decide whether or not this is just a funny pirate game, or maybe something a little deeper. And those that continue to dig will eventually discover the NAL, a competitive league that was endorsed by Rare themselves. The NAL, or Notorious Arena League, used private arena servers in order to host their competitions, pushing PvPers to their limits. But when the official arena mode was removed from the game, the NAL was forced to end their league too. Their whole competition was based around the mechanics the arena mode had, so they didn't really have much choice. And these players that competed in the NAL because they loved the competitive game mode the league provided had nowhere to go. Some abandoned ship. Some sailed aimlessly through adventure mode hoping to find a worthy opponent. But the most passionate of them all, well, they didn't give up. This is Legacy Brawl Hub, a group of players that, through all odds, kept the competitive side of Sea of Thieves alive with hosted competitions, just like the NAL. At its core, Legacy Brawl Hub, or LBH for short, is a competition held on private servers through the help of official Sea of Thieves partners. 5 galleon crews compete in a designated area for 3 rounds, and the last ship standing is declared the winner. Now, this all takes place on private adventure mode servers. This means that the area the ships can stay in, along with their supplies, are all manually moderated by a team of referees, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of love and care that's been put into keeping the competitive spirit of Sea of Thieves alive, and I wanted to highlight that in today's Tales of Getting Booty. Subscribe. I had been invited into a 1v1 scrim in order to gain a better understanding of competitive Sea of Thieves, but before I could even get started, I needed to understand the basic roles of a ship. Now, in adventure mode, you'll likely have seen plenty of crews running tasks on their ship like a headless chicken. Hell, I'm guilty of it myself. But what separates a good crew from a really good crew is player roles. Main cannoneer, bilge, flex, and helm. Sticking to your role on a ship is extremely important if you want to find success, especially in a competition like LBH. But what exactly do these roles mean? Well, the main cannoneer's job is essentially to lead the charge with cannon fire. They should be calling out where to aim in order to hit shots, and are usually the first to go when a border is needed. On top of that, they're in charge of front sail management. It's a pretty easy role. However, the next role is a bit harder than it seems. You see, the bilge's job is to maintain the lower deck of the ship's health. This means that whenever the lower deck of the ship takes a hole, they need to be downstairs repairing it, and because there can be quite a lot of water down there, it's almost mandatory for a bilge to hold a sword in their loadout, due to the sword hop being able to assist their otherwise hindered movement underwater. Because the health of the ship is of the utmost priority, they'll call for help when needed, and with great bucketing along with other advanced bilge strats, it can get pretty technical down there. Now, the flex's job is essentially to fill roles, which boils down to assisting everyone with their roles when needed. You can think of the flex as an all-rounder that makes sure everything's running smoothly. And finally, the helmsman. They stay on the wheel and ensure the ship's cannons are always in angle. And, well, it's actually a little more complex than that. You see, the helmsman is essentially the captain of the ship due to the visibility granted from the wheel. Because they're in charge of ship positioning, a good helmsman will be calling the shots, and essentially telling their crew what parts of the enemy ship they should be shooting, when to go for boards, and when to peel out of trouble. They're essentially the brain of the crew, and a good helm is vital to winning a fight against strong opponents. So, with the roles explained, and my dumbass being placed as main cannoneer, we joined up with a bunch of pirates on a private server and began the supply phase. In LBH, each ship is given a very specific amount of supplies, but because there's no arena mode to automatically supply these galleons with everything they need, we need to do that manually, which means every ship needs to fire up the final checkpoint of the Lords of the Sea tooltail. This section of the tooltail drops a lot of supply crates, and if you farm it for long enough, well, you'll have enough supplies to sustain 5 galleons battling through 3 rounds. Yeah, we needed a lot of supplies. But having finally collected enough supplies, bear in mind that today's scrim would just be a 1v1, we convened with the referee and handed over our supply crates before heading to the corner of the map, while we awaited to start our first match.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, but before we start, there's one last rule we need to discuss, and that's the map. Now, LBH is trying its best to do what the NAL could do with private arena servers, which had its own small maps along with out-of-bounds zones. But because LBH takes place within adventure mode private servers, there's no real function to facilitate that. Instead, the referees that sit in the middle of the map moderate and alert any crew that's out of bounds. If a crew's out of bounds for more than 60 seconds, then they're disqualified.
They're out of bounds. Purple's is out.
Purple out.
Okay.
The bounds are a 3x3 grid that shrink to a 2x2 grid after 15 minutes, and finally a single square after 25 minutes. If by some stroke of magic 2 or more ships survive the final zone, and the match reaches 35 minutes, then it's a draw, but this is kind of rare.
We had 5 boats in the final zone, Doc.
Oh, okay, the rumor was true.
Anyway, it was time for my first galleon scrim, and please bear in mind that this scrim actually happened before Season 8. This was my first time on a galleon with assigned roles, and I was pretty nervous.
Help me with front real quick.
Yep.
Lead a little bit more, bring him down a little bit. There's a crack in mid. I really don't need mid though.
I'm going down.
Good. Throw one fire on the cannon line. Yeah, throw a fire at him.
Okay.
I only had 1 hole. I'm coming back up after reload. I got the fire.
Okay.
Thunder's coming in.
I need to rebuild.
Bro.
However, soon into our fight, our enemy crew was hit by a Megalodon, and there's actually rules pertaining to PvE during a match. Now, usually any skeleton ships or Megalodons that spawn during a match are essentially ignored. You have to deal with the game's RNG yourself, basically. However, the Kraken is a special case, due to how powerful the Kraken is with its ability to stop a ship's movement. Because of this, other players aren't allowed to attack a ship that's been krakened, and upon defeating the Kraken, the crew is allowed a special resupply crate to compensate the cannonballs and wood spent. Anyway, considering this was a practice scrim, we waited for our enemy crew to deal with the Megalodon before continuing our fight.
Don't get bald, move. Going downstairs.
They just hit their helm.
Oh. I'm dodging for a second.
There's fire
water.
in 4.
I shot a fire at them.
I'm healing.
I just put an 8 out.
Let's hit 3 front lowers.
I'm rebuilding.
I'm gonna rebuild myself.
Grab a bucket.
Yep.
I'm good down here.
They're 2 masts down.
Good chop. Good chops right there. Let's get these front lowers.
I'm throwing 1 more fire. I made a
Water coming
reroll.
in.
It's all
We're
good.
chilling downstairs.
XM, go over.
Hold on, I gotta.
Oh, it's just water. I got this.
Go lowers here.
Yeah, pound lowers, then I'll go.
They just sink.
I need to
I
rebuild.
think they just slowed down.
No, they're up barely.
Okay. Reballing. There's 1
I'm
lower.
on cannons. I'll go right down.
It's fine. It's just 1 lower. It's like underneath cannon 3.
Okay.
Yep, I'm hitting lowers right now though.
Kill James.
Alright, so that's out of the way.
Please help me with a sword.
They're all mid.
I have to reball.
Yo, GG, dude.
There's down.
No, I double gunned. I 2-tapped him.
Whoa. And thanks to the amazing crew I got to play with, we won.
You did it, Toxie!
Yeah, it was all me.
Okay.
What'd you guys do about me? Now, with our first fight down, we needed to resupply. Basically, we unload all our pockets and barrels into a crate, and a referee will give us a new fresh supply crate.
Damn.
Oh.
During the second battle, the opposing crew had adapted a little from the first round, and under the pressure, I had made a few too many mistakes, which ultimately caused us to lose.
All bucket.
Oh.
Okay.
Had a lot of mids there.
Oh jeez. But I was keen to learn from my mistakes. It's important that a galleon run like a well-oiled machine. This means whenever I reball, I need to make sure I grab a bucket of water before returning. This aids the bilge's job way more than you realize, and allows more players to be on the cannons for longer. And with that all reinforced in my mind, we went on for our third and final round.
You guys should be good to go with supplies.
I'm tagging slightly above front mast. A full ship's like the lead.
Burn.
I'm going down.
There's 2 fires.
Eating. I'm coming down.
That's 3 fires coming in.
Okay.
I'm grabbing you 2.
Thunder.
Oh God.
Backsplashed. Grab it, grab it, grab it.
Sending lowers on him.
Reballing.
More fires. That's 5 fires. 2 more blunders. I killed one.
Oh, I died.
Where are you?
I got him. Where is he?
I got him.
Heard.
They have
Going
one dead
back
out there. So, get the fire out.
Yeah, I'm working on him.
Now, after that first broadside exchange, we were in a bit of a tough situation, and were forced to reset, which luckily we were able to do, before re-engaging in a full broadside again.
Good shots. They look like they're all lowers in the front.
One's dead.
Good. Good shit. I'm coming down the cans for a bit.
Hitting them off cannons.
I am...
Reballing and checking.
Yep, good chain. That blunder hit their bilge. Good.
I hit him
That's
again.
another good bilge.
I'm reballing.
Good.
Toxie, get a bucket.
He's weak.
Toxie,
Yeah,
will you
they're
come up?
struggling.
Talk to me. You come up. You're gonna go right over to turn board.
Okay.
I'm fine down here. I just won't be up for a minute.
Next time, keep the lowers up
I gotta
here.
reball and I'm going. I'll start pounding.
I want to see if I can't shoot ladder and help you. I cannot.
I had somehow made it on, in what I felt was completely undetected. The helmsman, if at the wheel, wouldn't be able to see me come up from the captain's quarters, but as I made my way up in anticipation...
Do something to keep them distracted.
Yeah, oh, they knocked me off.
Yeah, it turns out they were one step ahead of me, and so I made my way back to our ship. But as I did so...
Exxon?
Mid, buckets.
My mermaid literally just disappeared because the ship came by.
Yeah, I was kind of screwed here, and worse still...
So we want to get the first shots on him.
I'm grabbing his back.
Oh, I died.
Border.
Up by wheel.
You dropped on the balcony.
I'm gonna offer. I'm back.
I'm on 2. He's on 1 firing.
We're gonna sail past him for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna straighten since you got him in the nose.
Grab my reball early.
Thank you.
Go reball now.
Come up.
I'm coming up.
I hit the guy on heart. Hit him 1.
I'm kept reballing.
A little bit higher.
Yep.
Hit him 4.
I killed him.
Hit him 4.
I killed four.
Lowers, go lowers, everything go lowers.
Send him over.
Go over.
Yep.
I'm shooting ladder.
It's a reball.
He's alright. I'm going with him. Okay.
Yep, go for it. I'm grabbing a reball myself.
Climb.
It's just residual
Balls,
water
go
down
ladder.
there. What? Okay, yeah.
He's up.
Toxie's on.
Go down there and slash away, dude.
Yeah. Oh, he
Sword
killed
Lord.
me right away. No, he killed me right away.
Front lowers.
Well, he had killed me instantly. I really should have stood back and thrown blunder bombs, but that moment he spent killing me wasn't a bucket of water, and because of that, their ship was now mid-decking. And if you know anything about galleon PvP, this usually means GG.
GG, y'all.
Are they out?
Good.
Yeah, they're done.
Nice job,
That was a very
guys.
good
That
match.
was
That was a very good
fantastic.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Even if you die there, not a big deal. Just go down there and get them doing something other than taking a bucket.
Yeah, I guess he had to pull his blunderbuss out there instead of bucketing.
Honestly, it was all thanks to the wonderful crew I got to play with. T-Small, Nate, Exom, Smurf, Freon, thanks for having me. There's a lot of work that's gone into this community, and seeing how much effort that goes into playing Sea of Thieves on a competitive level, and what it takes to even set up one of these events, is truly astounding. If you want to get involved in LBH, then click the Discord link in the description below. I also want to thank T-Smalls for setting this up, KT Pierce for the private server, everyone who participated in the scrim, and Tank Lady for answering all of my dumbass questions. Thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoy LBH.